Yes, guys, how you doing? Welcome back to the Spurs Talk Show. I'm Sean Butler. It's just finished here, 2-2, Tottenham Hotspur 2, Wolverhampton Wanderers 2, and a disappointing game, disappointing end to the game. It always felt like it was going to end in disappointment as the second half progressed. I've got a lot to say. Look, I think a lot of people would have probably, given what we've been going through, taken a point before the game. I wouldn't. I think the Wolves were there for the taking, and I'm thoroughly upset with everything I've seen in the second half. The first half, I thought we played some good minutes. I thought we started sloppy, and I think that we sort of built into the game, and I think we played some really, really great football at times. I think there were some moments there where there was some sensational football in the build-up play that was let down by some poor finishing. I think one of those moments that was really key was, okay, give me a few minutes, please. One of those moments where there was some really key opportunities there was when the two players, I think it was it Bentancur and Solanke, got in each other's way and kind of took each other out at the end of what would have been the best goal I've seen in the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium for a long time. Some of that intricate passing leading up to it was sublime. I think that, you come to shake hands with that as a Tottenham Hotspur fan of the Ange Ball system. You're going to have moments where this system is going to deliver. When it doesn't have to be all the time, but when that chemistry is on point, you're going to have some unbelievable things on display. And there were moments of it here and there. But ultimately, it wasn't good enough. It really wasn't. The starting 11 was Foster in goal, Destiny Udogie, Archie Gray, the returning Radu Dragusin because he went off in the Nottingham Forest game, and Pedro Porro. They went with a midfield of Bentancur and Bissouma, and Deki in the 10, and then Sonny on the left, Johnson on the right, and Solanke. For me, I think they should have found room for James Maddison. I would have been argued that Sonny's form has been so bad that he should have had a time on the bench, a bit of a respite. Pedro Porro, for example, rested for the Nottingham Forest game, at least in the first instance. He was brilliant today. I thought he was sensational. Defensively, I thought he did everything he could. I thought he was really powerful. He looked like that kind of that little breather that he had. I think it did him wonders. Now I know that Ange isn't he hasn't got a huge amount of options in certain areas of the pitch, but at the top end there are some sort of selection headaches that he could make, and the fact that you left Maddison on the bench again and you maintained your persistence with Sonny, for me, is questionable. Now listen, I know that Brennan Johnson doesn't do very well off the left-hand side. I know that Maddison was poor anyway when he did come on, but maybe that's a little bit of resentment towards the fact that he's not getting the minutes despite everyone else is not doing so well. Maybe there's just a little bit of sulkiness about that. Not that it's excusable, but it might be an explanation. Sonny was poor again today. We got to the penalty. I'm shooting ahead here, but the penalty, I think everybody in the stadium around me saw what was going on. The referee blew his whistle. He must have waited 10 seconds before he took it. He looked nervous. Everyone around me said he's missing this. Everyone did. And it was written in the stars. It's a little pinpoint moment of a demonstration of what's going on with Tottenham. There is a massive lack of confidence in certain key players that can be covered over and overcame with moments of glamour, moments of really silky football, which, as I say, is part and parcel of the Tottenham system, but is all too often too easy to break down. For what it's worth, I thought the three best players on the pitch today were Pedro Porro, Bentancur, and Kulusevski. I thought the three of them were really high effort and did their absolute best. But too often there wasn't enough going on. I thought Dominic Solanke put in a shift. Radu Dragusin, some good decisions, some bad decisions, guys. But look, Destiny Udogie went off injured, another headache at the back. It's unbelievable. The frequency of options, the frequency of injuries, the consistency of injuries, and the compounding effect of it all being in the same area of the pitch is a variable that is outside of the control of the manager and something that will be held against him. Unfortunately, there are no asterisks in lives, there are only scoreboards. No one will remember at the end of the season or in 2 years' time why it was that we finished where we did or how many injuries we had in the certain areas. But they are real, they are variables that are influential, and that shouldn't go against the kind of narrative. It shouldn't be forgotten when we do diagnose what we're doing here. At the top end of the pitch, though, it's really not good enough. The clinical edge isn't there. The confidence isn't there. But as a team that presses together, defends together, everything is one unit, which is what Ange Ball is supposed to represent. I have to be honest, what is going on at the back, the unforced errors when we have possession, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I don't know what is going on. Fraser Forster fell down in the first 25 minutes or 40 minutes, whenever it was in the game. And we were all saying, oh no, it's Brandon Austin time. No disrespect, Brandon, if you're watching, I'm sure you're not. But like, we haven't seen you, and I've said a few times, maybe tempting fate, it's unusual to think that you get 2 injuries to your goalkeepers in the same time in the same season. And so, maybe we don't have to think about that in January. He got back up and he got on with his game, but look, 6 minutes against Manchester United has destroyed that guy's confidence in every walk of the park. He doesn't look anything other than really flat and heavy-footed. His positional sense for crossing is not necessarily great, not that it ever was, but it's a real concern. His head is gone, in my opinion, to the point where we're lining up for goal kicks now, and he's about to take it, but he doesn't know whether to take the ball, hit the ball long or not. He ends up sort of handing over responsibility to Archie Gray, who just passes it to him anyway. It's so bad. It's so bad. It reeks of desperation. It reeks of the blind leading the blind at the back. And I get it. Listen, you've got an 18-year-old, you've got a 21-year-old who's the kind of makeshift captain of the back four. There's got a 23-year-old in Pedro Porro who isn't really a right back. You've got Destiny Udogie, who's gone off now, and Serge Reguilon coming on, who's 27, but hasn't played a minute in Angeball and has no reason to feel like Angeball would want him if it wasn't for the injuries. It is as bad as it gets at the back. It's as bad as it gets in terms of confidence, in terms of names, in terms of numbers, in terms of options. And unfortunately, I don't really see anything changing anytime soon. And God forbid Fraser Forster is actually carrying something and got on when he should have gone off. If there had been a different option on the bench, then, I don't know what we're going to do. January's around the corner, but it's a difficult month to do things. In the midfield today, I thought that it was the first time for a while that I saw a little bit of kind of common ground, a little bit of texture, if that's the right word, a little bit of substance. It was nice. There was a bit of balance there. Benson Core played a really good shift for me, and I think that was worth noting. Look, we got the point against a resurgent Wolves team. As I said at the start of this, I think most Tottenham fans, as far as I saw from the various channels, were somewhat predicting either a win, but it was, in brackets, I'm hoping rather than believing. And most people were saying 2-2s or whatever. Even people were predicting a lot of losses. So. And look, Wolves are under a new manager bounce. They played a resurgence and a resurgent version of themselves, and I want to give them credit. I also want to give credit to the Tottenham, to the Wolves fans. They were pretty noisy on the day. They seem to be happy with their new version of their manager. But listen, they're big names, if you like, in their team. A lot of them went off, right? They were injured. I can't even think of the man's name. Cunha, there you go. Cunha, he went off injured at half-time. The defensive midfielder went off injured as well. There was opportunities in that second half. We go in 2-1 up. I'm furious, by the way, with Tottenham Hotspur once again. I'm going to make a big deal out of this because I'm standing outside my gate here, and there's a TV right here, there's a TV right here, there's TVs all the way down, and they all show the game. But when you want to go into the tap-in bar here on the left-hand side to get a drink or a beer or a burger or whatever you want at half-time, then there's a TV in there as well. But you can't watch the game because they show some Sky Sports thing. It's ridiculous. Once again, ridiculous administrative issues. Little things like that can make a big difference. I went mad when the goal was scored and everyone out here had come out 15 minutes early to get their beer, saw the goal, but those have to come out 8 minutes early to make sure they can get back for the start of the second half, didn't get to see the goal. It's so bad. Little things like that really annoy me, but nothing annoys me more than what I'm seeing in terms of adaptability, the lack thereof, the lack of any kind of conversations coming from the Scot. At this point, I'm like, I can't help my frustration. As I say, I don't believe that you can sack Ange until we're out of the cups. I don't believe it's reasonable. I think that you have to shake hands with where we're at. I think you have to acknowledge how difficult it is for him to make certain decisions. But you also have to pay attention to what he's not doing now. Because there are no options on the pitch. There's no leadership. There are no figureheads that are stepping up. And in that absence, then even if you don't believe in that, Ange, you are the captain of the show. You are the captain of this footballing ship. And it might not be part of your personality, but you have to in life adapt. Everyone does. If you catch a cold, you do something different. If you put on some weight, I've been there many times, you do a little bit different. You're already doing things different for that to happen, but you need to adapt or adjust. If you keep doing the same thing over and over again, regardless of the circumstances, then it's a one-way track towards probably bad outcomes. And his lack of willingness to do anything different at any point in time is not only like now, like I'm over it, but it's irritating. It's irritating because it was written in the wind, the stars, the sunlight, the fog today is everywhere. You can smell it. There is no other outcome than what we see on the agenda, because there's no effort to do anything different. It's mind-boggling how unnecessary this is. The shit at the back, the passing out, oh, you do it, no, I'll do it, no, you do it, okay, you do it, oh, you're going to pass it to me anyway, okay, and they'll chip it long and give the ball away. Drives me up the wall, drives me up the wall. The stuff we see, the little 1-2s that end up just getting knocked out for a throw-in, the lackadaisical headers that are aimless. There's no leadership, and I get it, when you've got kids everywhere, I get it, but someone has to step up. Someone has to do something different. And if no one on the pitch is mature enough, then Ange, what are you doing, bro? What are you doing, mate? It's like, I cannot defend it. I can't find any rationale to defend it. And he'll get in there and get pissed off with some very obvious questions, and he'll sulk and he'll sook. And I'm sorry, if you're someone that's on board it, wake up. Wake up. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the circumstances are. If you're the guy who's in charge and you're paid millions of pounds a year to pick 11 players on a football pitch, earn your money. Because you're exposing yourself either as someone that doesn't care, or that is too stubborn, or that is inept. There is no other adjective, that can explain why we see the same thing happening over and over again, and why what are you, 57, 56? Why you can't do anything different than what you're doing. It's inexcusable. Now you might say that I'm coming across like we lost. It feels like we're losing every week. Even if we win, which we haven't done for a while, but even if we win, it doesn't feel like we're winning. Last time we won was United. The way that game finished, 10 more minutes and we would have been out of that cup. Whilst I say all that, guys, I would argue still, I'll stick to my guns. I've said it for a long time. He's still in all the competitions. I just think it's, if you were mad about Tottenham Hotspur for sacking Jose Mourinho 2 days before a cup final, then, and I agree with you on that, then surely the same logic has to apply. Give the guy enough rope. Let's see what happens against Liverpool. Do I expect us to get past them? No. Do you have to give the guy the chance? Yes. What I would ask you is, if we happen to get past Liverpool by hook or by crook, if we do, and we happen to go on to win that Carabao Cup, one of the best seasons, the best season that Tottenham have had for 15, right? Then you've got to stick with Ange. You can't let him win the cup and then sack him, but I have no faith in this manager. I'm sorry, I have no faith in the manager. I love the idea of the football, but as I've said time and time again, there is a reason why no other managers in world football do this. There is a reason why there is no plan B, plan C, plan D that is ever utilised in any other walk of football, not just in the Premier League, in the top 10 in Europe, I would argue there's probably nowhere in the Championship that even does one version and one version only, apart from the man at Southampton, and he also fell by the sword. I'm torn by my loyalty towards, not logic, logic's even the wrong word. I'm torn by my loyalty towards the idea of fairness, in that we're still in every cup, and therefore I think it's unfair to give the guy anything other than the chance. But I have lost all confidence in him. I have. I understand that there is massive issues with regards to our options. I get it. But there is nothing, I know, 1 second, 30 seconds. There is nothing that is more inexcusable than the absence of stepping in and stepping up when the only options that you have are mainly children and they are clearly blinded by the lights at times. There's too many red flags, too often, it's not good enough. Some would say a well-earned point. I would say another really disappointing day as a Tottenham Hotspur fan. Like, subscribe and comment, guys, and as always, let me know your thoughts. If you disagree, I'm open-minded, but, you know. Love you all. Take care. Long journey home, 3 hours! Yay! I'll see you about 9 o'clock for some feedback, probably. Take care, like, subscribe and comment, and as always, come on, you Spurs.